Welcome to our channel. In this video, we will look at how we can find slope and y-intercept of a line if equation of the line is given in the form y equals mx plus b. Here is an example. So it says find slope and y-intercept of line with equation y equals negative 3x plus 5. So let's write down what we are given here. We are given y equals negative 3x plus 5. Now we can compare this with the equation y equals mx plus b. So in this equation mx plus b, this m represents slope and that b represents y-intercept. So once we have that set up, if we compare these two equations directly, looks like m must be negative 3. So we can say slope is simply negative 3 and b must be 5. So we can say y-intercept equals 5. So we have found the slope and y-intercept. Now let's quickly try to graph this using this slope and y-intercept. First, we see that the y-intercept is 5. So let's look at that here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this must be the y-intercept. And the slope is negative 3. So when we go 3 units down, we must go 1 unit to the right. So let's say 1 unit to the right is right there. So the graph must go through those 2 points. That means it must look like this one. This is the graph of the given equation. Let's look at next example now. Here we are given the equation y equals negative 3x plus 5, and we want to find the slope and y-intercept. First of all, let's try to use this formula. Slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So for that, we need two pairs of values, x1, y1, and x2, y2. So when x is 0, y is negative 3 times 0 plus 5, which is 5. And when x is 1, y is negative 3 times 1 plus 5, which is 2. So we have x1, y1, and x2, y2. So using that, we get slope equals y2 minus y1, 2 minus 5, and x2 minus x1, 1 minus 0. So this will be negative 3 on the top and 1 in the denominator. So negative 3 is the slope. Next, let's find y-intercept. Y-intercept is simply the value of y when x is 0. So that would be negative 3 times 0 plus 5, which is 5, which we had found here on the table also. So we found y-intercept and slope. Now, if you look at these values, the ones we just calculated, negative 3 and 5, they appear in the equation also. We have negative 3 and 5 over here. And that's not just a coincidence. So there is a quicker way to get slope and y-intercept if you have equation given in y equals mx plus b form. So we will look at that next. So in general, whenever a linear function is given as y equals mx plus b, then slope is simply m, the coefficient of x, and the y-intercept is simply b, the constant term by itself. Here is an example. So it says find slope and y-intercept of this line. So we just compare with the given form y equals mx plus b. So just comparing, we get m equals 6, the coefficient of x, and b equals 10. So this is the slope and this is the y-intercept. Let's look at the next example. Here we have 2y plus 6x equals 10. To find slope and y-intercept right away, using the format, we need to first write this equation in this format, y equals mx plus b. That means we need to isolate y on one side. So let's do that quickly. We can simply subtract 6x from both sides. So that will give us 2y equals negative 6x plus 10. It's still not in this format. We need y by itself. So we can divide both sides by 2. So we get y equals negative 3x when you divide negative 6x by 2. And when you divide 10 by 2, you get 5. Now this is in the form y equals mx plus b. So we can compare this with y equals mx plus b and get the value of m, which we will call slope, and b, which is y-intercept. So m equals negative 3 and b equals 5. Another example here. Again, this is not in the form y equals mx plus b. So we want to write it in the form y equals mx plus b. Basically, we want to isolate y on one side. So subtract 3x from both sides. And we also want constant on the other side. So we have negative 20 here. So we can add 20 to both sides. So this will leave 10y on this side. And on this side, you will have negative 3x plus 20. Now we need to get rid of that 10. So we can divide both sides by 10. That will give us y equals negative 3 by 10x. When you divide negative 3x by 10, plus when you divide 20 by 10, you get 2. So now we can compare this with y equals mx plus b. Then we get m equals negative 3 by 10, which is the coefficient of x in both the forms, which is the coefficient of x in both of these equations. And b is the constant, which is 2. So we get the slope and y-intercept. And so this is all we have in this video. Thank you for watching.